embarrassing, toothless, humiliating. Take your pick. All three of those words can be used to describe Liverpool's performance tonight. I mean, don't really know where to start. Can't quite believe my eyes. I've just watched Liverpool lose 4-1 away against Napoli in the Champions League. After so many poor performances this season, particularly with poor starts, the team giving themselves a mountain to climb, you're thinking, okay, surely we've learned our lesson this time. Surely we're going to keep it tight early. We're going to be organised. We're going to be switched on. We're going to be ready to compete from that first damn whistle. What happens? 45 seconds in, Napoli hit the post. And I couldn't help but just feel, here we go again. Now, I don't want to be too over the top with the criticism, but it's sort of hard not to. We have to say, though, that Napoli has been a difficult place historically for Jurgen Klopp teams. We played there 3 times before, hadn't scored. In particular, there's one game we lost 2-0 there, and we were absolutely terrible. But this game today was another level of bad. In multiple games this season, like against Fulham, like against United, like against Newcastle, we've conceded so many chances. The defence just looks so disorganised. It looks like the opposition does not have to do much at all to get a glaring opportunity on goal. And you might think, okay, these teams are not that good. Manchester United are in transition. When they beat us, they just lost 4-0 against Brentford. So you might have kind of thought, okay, if teams at that level are capable of causing so much defensive discomfort for Liverpool, well, what would happen if we played a legit Champions League quality side? And today was the answer. We get stuffed. 3-0 at half-time. Napoli had 18 shots, and apparently 8 to 9 were clear-cut chances. 4 goals conceded, and it could have actually been worse. Where do I start with this analysis? I mean, defensively, it was a shambles. You just could not tell what we were trying to do at the back. Napoli must have been thinking, oh, this is last season's Champions League finalist? What is going on here? They were slicing through us like we weren't even there. They're running the channels. They're catching us trying to play the offside trap terribly, getting through in great positions over and over again. In terms of that defensive back four, I mean, we were just terrible. Van Dijk has given away 2 penalties this season. I mean, off the top of my head, I can't really remember him giving away another penalty in any of his previous years with Liverpool. He looks way off it. Joe Gomez, as bad a 45 minutes as I've seen him play for the club. Now, I thought he was doing okay so far this season, and I wanted him to get the opportunity to actually hammer down that starting spot beside Van Dijk. Because we have to remember, he was the starting centre-half beside Van Dijk in the 1920 season when we won the league. So he's got it in him. He can be a quality player. He's generally been good. He's a front foot defender. He's been winning quite a lot of ball. He's very active in the defensive side of things. But he's missed some key challenges, some key moments, bad clearances that have led to goals already this season. And this game was a disaster for him. In particular in this game, there are 2 instances where he tries to dribble the ball out of trouble. One time on our left-hand side, the other on our right. And he loses it both times. Now, look, it can happen. The first one, okay, you're having a bad day. It can happen. But he did the same thing 5 minutes later on the other side of the field, which led to the 3rd goal. It was either the 2nd or the 3rd goal. I mean, you just cannot do that. It was a gift. What made it even more frustrating was that there were a couple of occasions where Napoli just played a couple passes on the edge of the Liverpool box. And then they play the ball back in between. It was either in between Trent and Gomez, or it was Fabinho and Gomez. And someone would just run clean through 2 or 3 Liverpool defenders just standing there, ball watching, not even trying to get back, like they're just completely switched off. It was embarrassing. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I mean, look, we praise him so much. He's an amazing footballer. But this season, what is he doing? He just looks like he can't defend. He gets beaten so easily 1v1. And the worst part is, he doesn't get back. It's like someone plays the ball past him. He turns to look to see if anyone's going to get it, realizes they're not, and then jogs back into position. Not at this level. Not at this level. You cannot defend like that. If you're playing a tricky winger, you don't necessarily have to dive in or stand your ground every time. You can always back off. You can give them a couple yards so that if they do knock it around you, you're in a position where you can actually recover. You knock the ball around Trent, he's out of the game. Too easy. Robertson gave the ball away continuously as well. He was one of the few players. Second half, when we were 4-0 down, Diaz, you could feel like he switched on. He was trying to get us back into the game. He scored an amazing goal. He was he was our best performer of the night. You could tell Robertson tried to up his level and add some intensity, but he was still sloppy. He was still giving the ball away too easily. The balance in the midfield, us not getting a midfielder this summer, is looking like a bigger and bigger mistake every single week. The balance is not right. Something is wrong there. It looked like, Fabinho's not been playing well, but it looked like he was alone playing DM, getting overrun by multiple players in the centre of the park. James Milner, he cannot be starting for Liverpool at this level. He's so limited on the ball, gives it away continuously, rarely puts in, he's no recovery pace. He doesn't have an awareness to sniff out tackles, to sniff out danger. All he really does reasonably well is he's fit so he can close people down. Doesn't really win the ball back though. It was such a mistake not to get proper cover. He can come on for the last 10 minutes of a game, see it out, fair enough. Show leadership skills, fair enough. Out of his depth in this game. Harvey Elliott has been one of the bright patches, one of the bright sparks for the team this year. And look, he's only 19, so you can't put too much criticism on him. But he was giving the ball away continuously as well. And he offers nothing. Well, the odd time he'll win the ball back, but defensively, he doesn't have the pace, he doesn't have the strength, he doesn't have the awareness to offer any kind of protection to the team. So Trent's completely exposed on the right-hand side. And that's why Fabinho was essentially on his own, trying to offer some kind of solidarity in the centre of the park. It's way too disjointed. Ideally, we wouldn't want Elliott to be starting in a very tough away game against a good Napoli side. This is the kind of game you probably would have wanted, Fabinho, Henderson, and a Wijnaldum type figure, a bit more defensive in there, just to hold things tight and try to get control of the game. Because if Elliott's not offering defensive cover and he's giving the ball away a lot, well, that's a bad combination. Again, though, look, he's 19. He shouldn't have been in the firing line like he was today. Mo Salah. What is happening to that man? It's been, 8 or 9 months since the African Cup of Nations. He just does not look the same player. One opportunity in the first half, the ball was played in. He has acres of space. It's on his left foot. Trent had played it across. He's a clear sight and goal. Completely miscontrols it. The ball goes out of play. And this is happening over and over with Salah. There's so many opportunities this season where a lack of control, that first touch, a bad second touch, has meant that Salah hasn't had a clear-cut shot on goal. We need him. He needs to get it together soon. He wanted to be paid like the best players in the world. I watched a bit of the PSG Juventus game yesterday. Mbappe is one of the best players in the world. Those finishes, 2 incredible finishes, just slam, bottom corner. He is an unbelievable player. Salah, he saw himself in that bracket. He wanted to be paid like it. And he's not quite getting paid that amount, but he's getting paid the highest by a mile at Liverpool and one of the best paid players in the Premier League. Show us that form that you had at the beginning of the last season. He needs to turn it around fast. Firmino is there to link up play. How many times was he giving the ball away? It's just, as I said, Diaz was the only real shining light for the team. Fantastic goal, great finish. It seemed like the team only switched on, realised there was urgency when we were 4-0 down. Come on. What are we doing? It's a crime at this point that we can't start games properly. You feel like you want to just shake the players, switch on. Happened in the Fulham game. Okay, yeah, first game of the season. Crystal Palace didn't start well. Manchester United weren't prepared for the start of the game. Newcastle didn't start well. Everton, after the first 5 minutes, didn't start well. I mean, it's happening every game now. I'm sick of the excuses. We got to get it together. When the performances were bad early in the season, Klopp was saying, yeah, no need to panic, just relax, we'll get it right. Well, maybe it's not panic stations, but this is a recurring issue now. It's time to point some fingers. It's time for people to take a look at themselves and realize they're not playing anywhere near their actual standard. Why is it? Is it because last season we were in the running for 4 trophies? People talking about us being one of the best teams ever. Did it go to the players' heads? You have things like Pep Linders and his book coming out and celebrating the team and talking about all the things we do great. Are players thinking they're better than they are? Thinking they don't need to turn up and give 100% in games? Is it because after the Charity Shield victory, where we played as well as I've seen us play against Man City for years, we actually controlled a midfield battle against them, which is so unusual to happen, and we were excellent in that game? Did we think we're better than we are? And we're starting to wonder these questions. Thomas Tuchel just got sacked as Chelsea manager, and they're currently sitting 1 point ahead of Liverpool in the league. And they lost their first Champions League match away to Dynamo Moscow. So we're 1 point behind Chelsea, and we've lost 4-1 in our opening Champions League game. It's time to sound the alarm bells a little bit. I mean, again, I don't want to overreact too much, but it's hard not to. Things that we're making the same mistakes every game. Defensively, teams look like scoring every time they go forward. They have to work so little to create clear-cut chances against us. Midfield is disjointed. There's no balance. Attacking-wise, we're pretty toothless at times. We had some chances to score more goals today, but it almost seems like all we do is... the other team sits back. We get the ball out wide. Robertson or Trent whip it into a packed box. The ball is cleared, and we just rinse and repeat over and over. Where is the invention? When Man City are playing against a deep-lying defence, they try to get to the byline. They try to get players in between the lines who can run down the gaps so that they can actually get in positions where they're not just lumping the ball in the box, but they're actually passing it backwards. And that's how they get clear-cut chances. Nunes and Jota came on for about the last 30 minutes. And I would actually be very curious to see how many times they touched the ball and didn't lose it. It seemed like Jota gave the ball away every single time he touched it. Looked way off. Nunes, overall play, looked way off. I am still confident Nunes is going to come good. And I'm aware he's more of a goal scorer. His overall game has never been amazing. But it's got to be so much better. I thought at 4-1, okay, look, maybe we're going to put a bit of a fight in. Maybe we're going to get some respect back. Maybe we're going to have one of those epic Liverpool comebacks. And even if we don't get a draw out of the game, we'll at least let them know we are Liverpool and we are a good side, and show them why we were Champions League finalists last year. Didn't come. The game just fizzled out. Biggest plus of the evening, Thiago coming back. We seemed to actually gain some control of the midfield when he came on. Melo came on as well, looked neat and tidy as you'd expect. Did look like he really, really lacks pace though, which will be concerning in the Premier League where there's so many quick players around. Overall though, what is going on? Is it a mental issue with the players? Is it a physical issue? We're 7 games into the season. They're playing like they look like they've played 70 and they're wrecked. We need to get things together fast or this season is going to disappear. This team, these players are too good to be non-competitive in a full season. The league looks like it's gone already, but we need to at least be competitive in the Champions League. We are third favourites in the Champions League. It's Man City, Paris Saint-Germain, Liverpool. Not after that performance. We look a million miles away. Maybe Klopp shouldn't be giving out any hugs for the next few weeks. He needs to put some players in their place, I think, at this point. We need to get it right. We need to get it right fast. We have another game against Wolves on the weekend. It's nearly 2 games a week up until the World Cup. We won't even get out of our Champions League group, which is pretty tricky, by the way, if we play like we did today. This team needs to get a hold of itself and get a hold of itself fast. We need to adapt. We need to go back to basics. We need to start working harder, start actually counter-pressing, start playing like a team. And that has to start the weekend at Wolves. God. I'm hoping it's going to be a lot better than it was today. I'll see you in the next one.